The Society of the Muslim Brothers, shortened to the Muslim Brotherhood, is a transnational Sunni Islamist organization founded in Egypt by Islamic scholar and schoolteacher Hassan al-Banna in 1928. The organization gained supporters throughout the Arab world and influenced other Islamist groups such as Hamas with its model of political activism, combined with Islamic charity work, and in 2012 sponsored the elected political party in Egypt after the January Revolution in 2011. However, it suffered from periodic government crackdowns for alleged terrorist activities, and as of 2015 is considered a terrorist organization by the governments of Bahrain, Egypt, Russia, Syria, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. The Brotherhood's stated goal is to instill the Quran and Sunnah as the sole reference point for ordering the life of the Muslim family, individual, community, and state. Its mottos include, "Believers are but brothers," "Islam is the solution," and "Allah is our objective," "The Quran is the Constitution," "The Prophet is our leader," "Jihad is our way," "Death for the sake of Allah is our wish." It is financed by members, who are required to allocate a portion of their income to the movement, and was for many years financed by Saudi Arabia, with whom it shared some enemies and some points of doctrine. As a pan-Islamic, religious, and social movement, it preached Islam, taught the illiterate, set up hospitals and business enterprises. The group spread to other Muslim countries but has its largest, or one of its largest, organizations in Egypt despite a succession of government crackdowns in 1948, 1954, 1965, and 2013 after plots, or alleged plots, of assassination and overthrow were uncovered. Over the years it also developed branches in other Muslim countries. The Arab Spring brought its legalization and substantial political power at first, but as of 2013 it has suffered severe reversals. The Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood was legalized in 2011 and won several elections, including the 2012 presidential election when its candidate Mohamed Morsi became Egypt's first elected president after the 2011 revolution. 1 year later, however, following massive demonstrations, anger at perceived discrimination and disenfranchisement against religious minorities, and anger at repressive religious policies, Morsi was overthrown by the military and arrested. As of 2014, the organization has been declared a terrorist group both in Egypt and by its erstwhile ally Saudi Arabia, and is once again suffering a severe crackdown in Egypt as well as pressure in other Arab countries. The Brotherhood itself claims it is a peaceful, democratic organization, and its leader condemns violence and violent acts. Beliefs. The Brotherhood's English-language website describes the principles of the Muslim Brotherhood as including firstly the introduction of the Islamic Sharia as the basis for controlling the affairs of state and society, and secondly, work to unify Islamic countries and states, mainly among the Arab states, and liberating them from foreign imperialism. According to a spokesman, the Muslim Brotherhood believe in reform, democracy, freedom of assembly, press, etc. We believe that the political reform is the true and natural gateway for all other kinds of reform. We have announced our acceptance of democracy that acknowledges political pluralism, the peaceful rotation of power and the fact that the nation is the source of all powers. As we see it, political reform includes the termination of the state of emergency, restoring public freedoms, including the right to establish political parties, whatever their tendencies may be, and the freedom of the press, freedom of criticism and thought, freedom of peaceful demonstrations, freedom of assembly, etc. It also includes the dismantling of all exceptional courts and the annulment of all exceptional laws, establishing the independence of the judiciary, enabling the judiciary to fully and truly supervise general elections so as to ensure that they authentically express people's will, removing all obstacles that restrict the functioning of civil society organizations, etc. Its founder, Hassan al-Banna, was influenced by Islamic modernist reform reformers Muhammad Abdu and Rashid Rida, with the group structure and approach being influenced by Sufism, as Islamic modernist beliefs were co-opted by secularist rulers and official ulama. The Brotherhood has become traditionalist and conservative, being the only available outlet for those whose religious and cultural sensibilities had been outraged by the impact of westernization. Al-Banna believed the Quran and Sunnah constitute a perfect way of life and social and political organization that God has set out for man. Islamic governments must be based on this system and eventually unified in a caliphate. The Muslim Brotherhood's goal, as stated by its founder Al-Banna, was to drive out British colonial and other Western influences, reclaim Islam's manifest destiny, an empire stretching from Spain to Indonesia. The Brotherhood preaches that Islam will bring social justice, the eradication of poverty, corruption and sinful behavior, political freedom. On the issue of women and gender, the Muslim Brotherhood interprets Islam conservatively. Its founder called for a campaign against ostentation in dress and loose behavior, segregation of male and female students, a separate curriculum for girls, and the prohibition of dancing and other such pastimes. The Muslim Brotherhood position on political participation varied according to the domestic situation of each branch, rather than ideology. For many years its stance was collaborationist in Kuwait and Jordan, for pacific opposition in Egypt, armed opposition in Libya and Syria. The Muslim Brotherhood is a movement, not a political party, but members have created political parties in several countries, such as the Islamic Action Front in Jordan and Hamas in Gaza and the West Bank, and the now disbanded Freedom and Justice Party in Egypt. These parties are staffed by Brotherhood members but kept independent from the Muslim Brotherhood to some degree. Unlike Hizb ut-Tahrir, which is highly centralized, there have been breakaway groups from the movement, including the Al-Gamma al-Islamiyya and Al-Takfir wal-Hijra. Prominent figures of the Brotherhood include Sayyid Qutb, a highly influential and anti-Israeli thinker of Islamic supremacism, and the author of Milestones. Osama bin Laden criticized the Brotherhood, and accused it of betraying jihad and the ideals of Qutb. Mottos. The Brotherhood's most frequently used slogan is, "Islam is the solution." Another well-known slogan is, "God is our objective. The Prophet is our leader. The Quran is our law. Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of God is our highest hope. God is greater." On the Brotherhood's green logo is emblazoned, taken from Surat al-Anfal. According to academic Halil Yusuf, its motto was traditionally, "Believers are but brothers." Organization. The Brotherhood has been described as a combination of neo-Sufic tariqa and a political party. The Egyptian Brotherhood has a pyramidal structure with families at the bottom, clans above them, groups above clans, and battalions or phalanxes above groups. Potential brethren start out as muhib or lovers, and if approved move up to becomes a muayyad or supporter, then to muntajib or affiliated. If a muntajib satisfies his monitors, he is promoted to muntazim or organizer, before advancing to the final level, amal, or working brother. With this slow, careful advancement, the loyalty of potential members can be closely probed, and obedience to orders assured. At the top of the hierarchy is the guidance office, and immediately below the Shura Council. Orders are passed down through a chain of command. The Shura Council has the duties of planning, charting general policies and programs that achieve the goal of the group. It is composed of roughly 100 Muslim brothers. Important decisions, such as whether to participate in elections, are debated and voted on within the Shura Council and then executed by the Guidance Office. Its resolutions are binding to the group, and only the General Organizational Conference can modify or annul them, and the Shura Office has also the right to modify or annul resolutions of the Executive Office. It follows the implementation of the group policies and programs. It directs the Executive Office, and it forms dedicated branch committees to assist in that. Executive Office or Guidance Office, which is composed of approximately 15 long-time Muslim brothers and headed by the Supreme Guide or General Masul. Each member of the Guidance Office oversees a different portfolio, such as university recruitment, education, or politics. Guidance Office members are elected by the Shura Council. Divisions of the Guidance Executive Office include Executive Leadership, Organizational Office, Secretariat, General Educational Office, Political Office, Sisters Office. The Muslim Brotherhood aimed to build a transnational organization. In the 1940s, the Egyptian Brotherhood organized a section for liaison with the Islamic world, endowed with 9 committees. Groups were founded in Lebanon, Syria, and Transjordan. It also recruited among the foreign students in Cairo, where its headquarters became a center and meeting place for representatives from the whole Muslim world. In each country with an MB, there is a branch committee with a Masul appointed by the general executive leadership with essentially the same branch divisions as the executive office. Properly speaking, Brotherhood branches exist only in Arab countries of the Middle East, where they are, in theory, subordinate to the Egyptian General Guide. Beyond that, the Brotherhood sponsors national organizations in countries like Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria. Outside the Arab world, it also has influence, with the former president of Afghanistan Burhanuddin Rabbani having adopted MB ideas during his studies at Al-Azhar University, and many similarities between Mujahideen groups in Afghanistan and Arab MBs. Angkatan Belia Islam Malaysia. In Malaysia is close to the Brotherhood, according to scholar Olivier Roy. As of 1994, an international agency of the Brotherhood assures the cooperation of the ensemble of its national organizations.